Breaking news, President Trump just signed 4 executive orders into law. Confirmed unemployment extension, student loans, payroll tax cut, eviction ban, second stimulus check, second stimulus package update. My name is Zach. I'm an accountant. Thank you to everyone who liked the previous video. You guys really seem to be enjoying these, turning that gray like button into a blue one, just like this shirt over here. Please do so for this video as you will enjoy this update. This is actually good news. Literally just happened a few hours ago by President Trump at Capitol Hill. I'm going to give you the details of what's happening, and don't worry if you don't know what's going on, if you need to be brought up to speed, here's a 15-second basic recap of what's been going on if you just don't know. Back in March, Congress passed into legislation some stimulus to help the economy because of everything going on. That's when people got their first stimulus check. Those that were on unemployment got a federal boost of $600 per week, and many more provisions that happened within the CARES Act. That's what this was called. Since then, the Republicans and Democrats have been going back and forth negotiating between new proposals. The Democrats came out with the HEROES Act, and then the Republicans came out with the HEALS Act. All these talks of, okay, let's all extend unemployment benefits, let's do a second stimulus check, but let's talk about the amounts and who gets what. So in the midst of arguing between what's going on, the American people have been suffering. If you saw my last video, you can see how frustrating it was that nothing was happening for the people. And even President Trump said, by August 7th, if nothing gets passed, I will take executive action. I'm going to throw up a tweet, if I can find it somewhere, of exactly what he mentioned. This was on August 6th. And today is August 8th, and we are seeing the executive action now. Let's start off with the unemployment, which I know a lot of people are concerned with, especially those that lost their $600 per week, which was everyone on July 31st. There's good news for you. So it has been extended in this executive order, and it is not for the 600, but it's also not for the 200. As you know, the Democrats were fighting for 600. Republicans wanted 200. Reason being, we want people to go back to work. Democrats, you don't know how much people are hurting. So they're fighting back and forth, and nothing got passed, so the people got nothing during this last week. But now President Trump signed in at $400 per week for people on unemployment to receive that extra additional boost throughout the rest of the year, all the way through his election. So what does this mean? If you were on unemployment and you were getting that $600 per week boost, you'll notice this next week you probably got no more boost. And then after this gets passed into law, you will get a $400 boost instead of a $600 boost. President Trump's reasoning for this was he didn't want to go too high because he agrees also that the Republicans are saying people need to get back to work. He doesn't want to disincentivize them too much, but at the same time, 200 is very little and doesn't help the people very much. So 400 is like the middle ground. So how are they going to get this money? Where does this money come from? It's just going to poof out of thin air? Can the president just say, hey, you know what? Let's just sign this and print money? President doesn't have that much power. And really, with the executive orders, if the Democrats decide to come in and try to sue and stop this, they're very unlikely to do that just because of simple politics. If you look at it, elections are right around the corner. Do the Democrats really want to look bad by stepping in, stopping the aid to the people just to prove a point or whatever politics they want to do? I don't think so. So that you don't really have to worry about. As far as where the money's going to come from, President Trump said at this press conference at Capitol Hill that from the CARES Act, that original stimulus package, there was extra money in there for them to pay for this $400 per week. They want to pay 75% of it. So the federal government will be paying 75% of this unemployment extension, and the state will have to cover 25% of it. So for $400, the state will cover $100, and the federal government will cover $300. And also, President Trump stated that if the state, depending on whatever state it is, wants to go above $400 per week in unemployment boost, they can, and the federal government will back them by 75%. Now, this second executive order is really important for you to pay attention to. Let's say you have a job during this entire time that we're going through, you're not on unemployment, you're not getting that extra boost, and you don't feel like it's fair. At least this is going to help you in some way, and that is the payroll tax cut, which means you will be paying less taxes every single time you get your paycheck now. So normally your employer usually pays half of it and you pay the other half, usually 7.5% each. So let's say your paycheck every week is $1,000. Get your $1,000 weekly paycheck, and that 7.5% that's removed, usually that's $75. You now get to keep that. So that's $75 more per week if you make $1,000 per week. in your paycheck. It's not much, but over time, it's going to add up. It's being suspended until November 3rd, which is the elections. And then if Trump passes the elections, he's saying he's planning on making this a permanent removal. Therefore, you'll always get that extra 7.5%. You won't have to pay that tax anymore. The third executive order is the eviction moratorium. As you know, it has expired in most states, which means a lot of people got kicked out of their homes because they could not afford to pay rent. Now it is being extended throughout the end of the year. Also, at the end of the press conference, Trump mentioned lowering income taxes and lowering capital gains taxes. This is in order to help boost the economy. Now, this wasn't signed into law. Everything I mentioned before this was signed into law. This is just talks and potential in the future, but we know that Trump wants to lower taxes. Therefore, it incentivizes more business in the US, increases our GDP, people have more money to spend, it goes back into the economy, and it's just an upward spiral to help the economy. Obviously, though, there are drawbacks to everything too. Our national debt just keeps going up. How are we going to pay that down even slower now with less taxes? We need to charge people taxes, obviously. So there's two sides to everything, but that's just something he mentioned at the end. And a lot of you who liked one of my earlier videos, I did mention the potential of making a video standalone on business, on why businesses have the tax code written for them, how to take advantage of it, why being an employee is so much harder to build wealth because you pay taxes, you can't write anything off, or businesses you can. I will be making an entire separate video because a lot of you did drop a comment saying business video. Thank you to all of you who did drop those comments. I will be making that video for you. So make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell so you know when that video comes out. And let's just finish this video off. The Republicans and Democrats now, they're still arguing or whatever. I think that what's going to happen now is these executive actions get signed into law. The second stimulus check, what happens with that? That is the question now. It is not signed by an executive order, so we are still waiting on that. We still have to wait for these two Republicans and Democrats to argue, negotiate, figure something out, and get a stimulus check out as well. So unfortunately, for those that were depending on that stimulus check, we still don't have a time of when it's going to come out. They still need to negotiate it. And these executive orders could throw a wrench into their negotiating because now unemployment's out of the way, eviction moratorium, student loans, payroll tax cut. So we'll see how things unfold. If I get another update of something that actually happened again, just like this, I will make a video on it right away, post it, and you will be notified. So make sure you're part of that notification squad. Until then, watch one of these two videos. You will learn something about personal finance or investing. It'll help you make more money. That's what my channel is all about. Hit one of these two videos and I will see you in one of them soon. See you there.